All right, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of How to Survive My Dance Studio Life with Tiffany Henderson. I'm your host, Amanda Scott, and Tiffany and I are excited to bring our daily conversations off of the phone and the web and to you guys, just public, talking about how to survive, being a dance teacher or studio owner, when we have all these anxious parents and kids that we're serving every day. So we're ready to just dive right in. How are you today, Tiffany?
Oh, I'm doing great. Good to talk to you, Amanda. How is Kalamazoo?
It is good. We haven't quite got snow yet, so hanging in there the last bit of summer.
Okay, perfect.
So I know you are finally back in the studios, back home from summer vacations with your family and the dance teacher conferences. So tell me a little bit about how you're kind of finding inspiration in the new season as you enter your 20th year.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, finding inspiration for the next year is always probably the hardest thing. And I think the longer you've been in business or owning a dance studio, actually, the more difficult it becomes. You'd think it would get easier because you sort of figure things out. But I think that inspiration is born from our goals or things that we want to achieve. I also think you find inspiration in having an idea and, making it come true, which I feel is probably the most exciting part of our own business, because you can make things happen with a single thought. You can see a costume and go, oh my gosh, I want to make that dance, or hear a piece of music, or decide you want to do a different type of recital or show. And I think that makes, that's very exciting. But going into my 20th season as a dance studio owner, I've probably choreographed to every song under the sun, and created shows and events. Like I've done every theme, right? We're sort of running out of things. So in my case, inspiration becomes a little bit more difficult for me. And also I've achieved most of the goals that I had when I first started out 20 years ago. So a lot of the goals are like, I've done that. I have dancers that have gone on to top college dance programs. They're dancing professionally. We've had students that have become dance teachers and also go on to other amazing careers. So it does become more difficult to find the thing that energizes you, because obviously our lives are not the easiest. We have a lot of things coming at us, and it's always this pressure to create something new every year or be better.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely think, coming off of conferences and talking to other studio owners and teachers, that's kind of, something that resounds with them is just how impacted by stress and constant, connection through social media and things like that, a lot of our dancers and parents have become. So I definitely agree with what you're saying about just feeling that added pressure as a studio owner and a business owner, especially as we kind of start the wheel over again in the new season.
Yeah, I think also, it's always about growing. So I guess, and I'm somebody who always tells people we need to grow. So I'm probably the cause of the stress. It could be like grow. But this feeling that every year, specifically if you're doing dance competitions or if you're creating, or even you're just creating your own recital, you want to make it better than the last year. And so starting all over again is like reinventing your product. So like if you were creating, some sort of product that you're going to take to market, you want to continue making each version better and different or new. And that's hard to do. At the same time, specifically if you're a dance studio owner that's continuing to teach and choreograph like I am, it's hard to do at the same time of managing the business. So I think the start of the year is probably, for me, the most difficult because I'm excited about it, but I know what's ahead of me. So probably 20 years ago, I was a lot more excited to start because I had all these things I wanted to achieve. And like I said, that a lot of those things have been achieved. We've, talk about dance competitions. We've done that. We've grown to 300 competitive kids and we take them places and they do really well. But almost, it's like if you do well, it's almost worse because the following year, you're like, what am I going to do better than that? So I think it's just that added pressure that you feel to always make things better and new and stay current as things are changing. So, I think when you ask me about inspiration, this year for me, it's a little different. So, like I said, it's going to be a little difficult at this point, but this year, actually, I'm really excited to shake up my personal schedule a bit, and find more time to dedicate to the support of my dance teachers and my studio administrators. And that's what is actually inspiring for me. I've really thought about this summer. I'm lucky enough to be able to take the whole summer off and to kind of just manage the business and really think about the next year. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm really seeing the need for me to be available to my employees and my dance teachers, because I want to help them be the best at their jobs, and in turn grow our studios. And who knows, maybe we'll open a few more locations. Who knows how this is gonna go, because I've never been able to focus more on that, because I've always been splitting my time. And it's exciting to me to think about my employees and think about them almost as students, like what, each individual one needs different things. And so like I said, I'm shaking up my schedule a bit. I'm still obviously going to be in the classroom because I could never give that up, and I want that connection. But I want to give more time to being available. And so my focus has shifted to management, but not the kind that will catch people doing something wrong in a job. I want to give them the resources to thrive. And in order to do that, I think you do need to have extra time and energy to be, to sort of be where they are. If something's going wrong with them, instead of going, what's wrong with you? Or not even asking the question because you have to rush off to the next thing, then you may miss something really important. And maybe that employee decides to leave the studio, and you could have kept them and made them better. So that's where I'm at now, and I'm excited about it. Like I said, I'm still going to be teaching, but I'm just shaking it up a little bit more. And then now maybe my goals will become different. So I think it's almost like a reset.
Nice. Yeah. And I think it's always nice at the beginning of the year to kind of, like you said, kind of evaluate what things worked last year, maybe even expand on like, how can we improve that? Take note of what didn't maybe work and, curriculum in the classroom or teacher training, what you need to add to be able to continue to grow your business at 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I know you said you're kind of shaking your personal schedule up a little bit this year. Is there like a day in the life of Tiffany that you could share as far as how you go about doing that day to day, more like applying that into your everyday life?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. And I think having the schedule for yourself as a studio owner is really, really important. And I've been successful at doing that each year. But this year, so the day in the life, let's just say this morning, I'm actually still waking up at 5 a.m. because I'm having jet lag from my summer trip. So, but actually it's really cool. I would prefer to be a morning person because when you wake up at 5 a.m., you get so much done. But anyway, that's an aside. So I get up early. I'm still driving my daughter to school. She's 16, so she'll get her license soon, and that will be scary. But I come into the office around between 8 and 8:30 a.m. and I'm here, and sometimes I don't have something to do. And that's good, right? Because then I can talk to Robbie, I can talk to Vanessa, I can talk to Corbin and the people, we're all working together. And so it provides more time for meetings and talking about things rather than just playing catch up. And then today, actually, at the end of the day, I will go teach 2 hours of dance class. So it's going to be a little less teaching for me, for sure. But I'm still going to be seeing all the students that I normally saw. So, and a little less choreographing for me, but I will do stuff for the shows. And as I'm getting inspiration, I will do that. So I guess I've given myself the permission to do what I feel like I want to. And I think for so many years, it was what I had to do every day. And this year I'm deciding I want to do what makes me feel like when I wake up, I want to jump out of bed and go there. You know that feeling, right? Like if you wake up and you're dreading your day, it's much harder. And over time, that becomes cumulative and can become a detriment to your health, actually, I think. So really, I'm in the office the general part of the day, and then depending on the days, I'm teaching a few hours. And some days I don't teach at all. But I really do commit myself to sort of those normal working hours, normal business hours when normal people do their work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. And I think that's really important. At the beginning of this, when I wasn't a setup and I was a one woman show, and I was teaching the classes and answering the phones and cleaning the studio, I took more phone calls while I was at Target, with my kids, because I think I didn't, it just wasn't quite set up. I wasn't as scheduled as I needed to be. And I would say that that's definitely something I've learned over time and could possibly be a good tip for somebody who's just starting out or even 10 years in and still feeling overwhelmed and not like they can get to everything in that day.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think, being a newer mom, definitely I've learned that kind of time blocking your day and scheduling, like these are my regular office hours where I'm at my desk getting projects done or being available to help clients and things like that. It definitely makes a difference. And I'll tell you, once kids come along, you can get a lot more done in, even if your office hours are only 8:30 until noon, you can get a lot more done in those few hours than you can if you're trying to juggle multiple tasks at a time. So that's a great tip to share.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, I want to say just about inspiration is that I think you can find inspiration anywhere, but you have to be in a space to receive the inspiration you're getting. So I actually enjoy flying. I know that's odd. I don't enjoy the middle seat, but I do enjoy flying if I'm on, and the reason is I think when I'm up there, I'm like, I can be alone in my thoughts. I can turn on music. I can write. I can watch. Maybe it's the first time I've watched a movie uninterrupted. But during that time as a creative person, that's when I get most of my inspiration. Oh my gosh, this would be a great song for a dance. This would be a great theme for a recital. This would be an awesome thing that I can bring back to my employees. So if you're looking for inspiration right now and you don't really, you're like, where am I going to find all this stuff? I need it. And go have quiet time somewhere. It could be like half an hour. Go for a walk. Go be by yourself. Maybe if you're in your office, there's a lot of people and you really need to try to be creative, take your computer. Like I'll go to Starbucks or something and sit there and put my headphones in and ideas will just start flowing. And I think it's because nobody needs me. So just find that quiet space. And like I said, inspiration can be anywhere. And if you're feeling really stuck, maybe just like go see, plan some things to go see shows. Go do things that you don't normally do. And I think you will find it. It will come to you. You just have to get out of your environment maybe for a minute and find that quiet space where you can be inspired.
Yes. Yeah. Any last things that you would leave maybe someone that is getting back into their studio and, feeling overwhelmed or anything like that? Any advice that you would give them as far as managing the amount of tasks and stress that, studio owners face just kind of being in this business?
Yeah, I think that's, I've been there and it's really hard, specifically if you're in a position where you don't have a lot of systems in place yet. So I think the first thing to do is, get in your office or get in your space where you work. Don't try to do this on the fly. Don't try to do it half an hour before you teach your classes. And like you said, that might mean your kids go to daycare or somebody watches or whatever it is that needs to happen to clear your schedule where you can sit alone or with somebody else and have a strategy meeting as to what needs to be done. Let's just say, take it a chunk at a time. Maybe we're just taking it a month at a time, or maybe we're going to go September through December. And at that point, that to-do list is really important. So you're going to go through your to-do list, all these things that need to be done. And then you're going to look at that to-do list and cross off anything that really is not necessary. Things little events that don't need to happen, but would take up a lot of time. So cross some things off. And then from there, look at that list and see what you can give away. So when I talk about being available for my employees, I'm still struggling with this and, of course, working towards it. But the more that you do as a dance studio owner, the less available you are for your employees. And your employees or your teachers, your teaching staff, those are the people that are going to grow your studio. You cannot grow it as a one-woman show. I'm telling you that right now. So it might seem like you have all the control over it, but if something happens to you, then it all disappears. So, you've heard the word delegate. That's not a new concept, but you actually have to do it. But first, you have to figure out what it is that needs to be delegated. And there's a lot of systems out there that help you manage things, from dress code to costumes to curriculum to studio management. All those things has gotten so much easier and better. So if you're waiting, if you're thinking this might be the year I need to get more organized, that might take a week to implement those things. But then for the rest of the year, that's going well. So I think prioritize, delegate, cross things off your list. And if when you made your schedule back in April and you put that extra class for yourself on Mondays because, those kids need me and it'll be fine, I can manage it. But right now you're looking at that lineup and you're thinking, if I have to do that class, I might have an early death. Okay. Then you need to cross it off. And that might be something that you do, because if getting out at 6:00 that night is going to make your life easier long term, and then we need to make those decisions now. And so I think the overwhelming part is when you have all these thoughts about what needs to happen, and you don't really have a game plan to enact or to get to where you need to be for those tasks. So, and all you need to do is time and organization. So that, and I know that may not be the magic solution. But sometimes in our minds, we think about what we have to do over and over and over again. And if we actually wrote it down and started to do it, it would actually be like, oh, this is not actually so bad after all. So, but, finding ways to give away jobs to your staff, or maybe it is that you're hiring a staff member, I think is the key to not feeling overwhelmed and to enjoy your life as a dance studio owner.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Tiffany, for sharing your wisdom with us today. If someone wanted to connect with you, just, studio owner to studio owner or dance teacher to dance teacher, where can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Tiffany Henderson. I'm also, my email address is tiffany@tiffanydance.com. You can also find more information about my Twinkle Star Dance program at twinklestardance.com. And I would love to connect with anybody listening to this. I think the whole point of making our conversations more public is because I think that we talk a lot about these things that could help somebody and help them really enjoy this amazing life that they've carved out for themselves.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Amanda. Talk soon.